I was sitting out here thinking about how, when we're young, we kind of want to, we want to change people. We want people to be like us. We want other people to follow suit with the way that we think, the things that I guess, traditions that we hold to. Well, why don't they hold to these same traditions? Why don't they act like I act, talk like I talk? And it causes a lot of stress and anxiety and problems. Causes problems in marriages, causes problems in families. Um, Gossip, gossip about another person. But the older you get, the more you realize, or the more that I've realized that you just can't change anybody else. You can't. Not going to happen. It's like kicking against a brick wall, and it's just absolutely impossible. And it makes me think of a story that Jesus told. It's in Mark chapter 10 about rich young ruler, and don't know how old the guy was. He maybe in his 20s, old enough to have great possessions. But Jesus had a conversation with him, and he asked him. He said, "What must I do to be saved?" He says, "I've kept all of the commandments. I hadn't killed anybody. I hadn't done I honor my father and my mother. I've done all these things." But Jesus knew his heart. Jesus knew his heart, and Jesus knew exactly what to say. He told him, he said, well, I tell you what, you want to be perfect, go and sell everything that you have and give it to the poor. And he left. Jesus knew exactly what to say. You know, Jesus, he knows just exactly what to say to people, to change their hearts, to convict them. I remember a time when there was some things that I hate to even talk about right now that really it convicted me so hard that it I was living in guilt. I was living in the guilt of my sin, and I knew I wasn't following Christ, and I knew nobody could change me. Absolutely, nobody could change me. But the reason I was living in that guilt and conviction was because Christ knew exactly what to say to me. And I've seen it change my heart, change my life, and it still does to this day. Um, um, Speaking before and after salvation, he always knows what to say, what to do, the right moment to do it, the timing, everything he does is perfect. But after the fact of his meeting with the rich young ruler, he spoke to his disciples, and his disciples asked him, he said, well, if this is the case, he tells them, he says, well, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to be saved. And they asked him, well, who then can be saved? Oh, my goodness. You think about it, we're in the top 10% of the richest people in the world. If we live in America and have the things that we have, we're pretty rich. Whether you want to believe it or not, you may not be keeping up with the Joneses, but you have a roof over your head. You have hot water, you have food, you have things like that. You may be struggling a little bit. You're pretty rich, and you're blessed. But a lot of times you may want to hold on to certain things. Reminds me of a story a pastor told me one time that he went. I forget where he said he went, and he was talking to a village leader somewhere, in I guess a third world country, and the guy literally lived in a dung hut. And he told him about Jesus, and he said he said it was the size of I guess what we'd call a shack, a dung hut. And he told him, he said, "You mean I have to give up all of this to be saved?" Um, you know, it's our mindset. It's our mindset, and Jesus knows just how to change that. But as for us, trying to change another person is kicking against the goads. What is our job then? Our job is to go and tell, and our job is to pray. You know, there was a time to where, and I just said this, that nobody could change me. But there were people I know were praying for me. I know for a fact they were praying for me. If they hadn't have been praying for me, I wouldn't have stood a chance in the world. They were standing in the gap for me. And that's really what our job is to pray for people. If you call yourself a Christian, if you have the name, if you hold the name of the Lord near and dear to your heart, your job is to stand in the gap for other people. Not gossip about them, maybe be disappointed in them, but my goodness, fight that with all your heart. The mature person knows that I can't change somebody. Jesus says it's easier for a rich man to go through an eye of a needle. Somebody who has their heart dead bent on other things, you're not going to change them. Not going to happen. But the power of the gospel, the power of the conviction that comes through prayer and the gospel, telling people the good news of Christ and how they can be saved from those things. It is the most powerful force on this world. The love of Christ, loving people, despite whether you think they deserve it or not. Somebody loved you, whether you deserved it or not. His name was Jesus. God bless you.